Standing in the middle of a shopping complex, high school student Jimon Asuta yells to his father on the phone. After a back-and-forth confrontation with his father, Asuta is kicked out of the house. The call ends and Asuta sees his classmate Komodori Renge. Komodori tells Asuta that a Class 2 martial law has been set for the night and he needs to get home. Komodori runs off as the stores close down all around him, before remembering that he was outside to buy food. Asuta begs one of the store owners to open, saying he wanted to get something to eat. When the shutter door opens, he hands the shop owner a few coins and receives 2 buns in return. Asuta walks until he finds a girl who has fallen from her bike. The girl tells him how she's hungry and Asuta offers her one of his buns. The girl grabs both and eats from them simultaneously. He introduces himself and asks if she's lost. The girl says she's looking for something, and he is considered a perp for wandering the streets at night. The girl introduces herself as Hoshimiya Kate, the leader of the secret society Zvezda Venera the Great. She tells him that he can join her team and gets on her bike, telling him to follow her. Kate tells Asuta that her dream involves conquering the world. She reaches into her bag and hands him a gas mask and a sweet bun. Kate explains that if he swears his loyalty to her, she will share her snacks and the world with him. Asuta takes the mask and the food as Kate declares him a member of Zvezda. Kate tells Asuta that his new nickname is Diva, and he will address her as Your Excellency. After riding for some time, Asuta sees Kate getting sleepy and tells her that they can continue with their conquest game another day. Kate tells him that she lost her friend Galactica when they left the secret base. When Kate describes her friend, Asuta realizes that she's talking about a toy. Kate questions herself whether there will be a place she belongs when she rules the world. Asuta yells to her about how her acceptance is fickle, upsetting Kate. She punches him, jumps on her bike, and cycles away, leaving a cloud of smoke behind her. Asuta runs after her until he's almost hit by a car. He shields himself and looks up to find a girl in a mask asking him if he's seen a girl. She shows him a picture of Kate, as a man from afar addresses her as Plamia. The man is addressed as General Papal. When he and Plamia salute and grin at one another, they look to find Asuta gone. Running away, Asuta finds himself in a park where an unidentified giant is engaged in battle with the army. Missiles are fired at the giant until it explodes, causing hundreds of different colored live spheres to fall. Asuta sees a pink stuffed animal similar to what Kate described. He sees someone by his side and stands up next to him and lunges at their feet. The person kicks Asuta and runs off. Asuta runs up to the tanks before they crush the stuffed animal and hold onto the toy for dear life. Kate appears in front of him, takes the toy, and tells him that he should have left it as neither one of them can be replaced. Kate puts on her mask and tells the army of her importance of conquest. She stuffs her hand into her toy, which creates a large hand that she balls into a fist and damages the tanks around her. At the end of the battle, the individual who ran away is addressed by girls named Plamia and Professor Professor tells Roboko, a robot standing idly by, to purge him, but before she does, their teammate General People tells him to wait for Her Excellency to decide his fate. Kate walks up to the group as everyone bows before her, addressing the individual that ran off as Yasu. Kate declares that he won't get dinner for a week and turns to introduce Diva as their new soldier. She salutes her team by saying, "May the light of Zvezda shine throughout this world." The following day, Asuta is leaving school as he sees Plamia outside waiting for him. He runs off, but Plamia soon catches up to him. She introduces herself as one of the leaders of Zvezda and drags him away before inviting him to the headquarters to eat dinner. Walking into the house, Asuta stops when a girl briefly talks to Plamia. Asuta manages to hear her name, Natasha, before she asks what he's doing in the house. Explaining that he was invited for dinner, she mentions the round creature that hopped on his head, calling it Kuru, and goes back to her room. At the dining table, Asuta is sitting alone until another member of Zvezda walks into the room. Recognizing him as the person who received the punishment, the individual introduces himself as Yasubee. He leaves the room in a hurry as the robot from the night before enters the room, takes a seat, and turns on the television. Time goes by before everyone is seated at the table. A man enters the room and takes a seat as the ceiling opens up and a chair with Kate sealed on it slowly descends to the end of the table. Plamia tells him that it's time to eat, and everyone disappears from the table, leaving behind Kate, Asuta, and the robot left behind. They stare at their plates disapprovingly. Walking away from the Zvezda headquarters, Asuta collapses from the food until he's found by a female in a white costume and mask. She radios in that she is White Robin, and she thinks that she's found one of Zvezda's victims. She runs off as Asuta begins to gain consciousness and finds the headquarters, but is distracted when she sees a giant monster. When backup arrives, the monster disappears and White Robin is left in shock. One day, after eating out at a restaurant, Kate declares war on all cigarette smokers in the city after a man asks them if he can smoke in the restaurant. Kate manages to get the citizen of the city who do not smoke cigarettes to drive the culprits away from smoking in public places, only for Yasu to be kicked out of the team when he decides to not stop smoking. The smokers of the city run off to seek refuge in a deserted bar on the outlands of the city where they smoke freely. At a showdown with the hiding cigarette smokers, Kate tells them that if they drop their cigarettes and vow to never smoke again, they will be forgiven and allowed back to the city. The smokers decline the offer. Kate plunges her hand into the toy and punches all of the smokers with a large fist, but her variations in persuasion fail. Yasu laughs and makes fun of them until General People tells him that he will deal with him personally. Scared for what may come, Yasu runs to stand behind Zvezda and yells to the smokers to give themselves up. As this happens, White Robin and her teammate White Egret are in a plane overhead. The chaos as a bomb is launched from their plane and everyone retreats. Back at the house, everything has gone back to normal, except for Yasu, who is having trouble staying away from cigarettes. During a Zvezda meeting, Atsuka asks who the girls from their most recent battles are. Roboko tells him that they are called White Robin and White Egret, from a secret defense organization known as White Light. On a screen looking at a picture of the girls, Asuta stares at something on White Robin's weapon that looks familiar. Later on, Atsuka greets Komodori as they head to school. Atsuka notices her keychain that looks similar to the one he saw White Robin have. Atsuka asks Komodori about her keychain on her bag, and she tells him that it's a character she created. Atsuka stares in shock at Komodori as he comes to the realization that Komodori is White Robin. Sitting in class, Asuta states that his sanctuary from the Zvezda house is at school, and he will protect his sanctuary at all costs. The teacher walks in and introduces two transfer students, Kate and Roboko, stand before the class and introduce themselves, leaving Asuta shocked. Taking them to the rooftop, Roboko tells Asuta that they are looking for treasure hidden in the school named the Udo Bride, and the person who has the Udo Bride is the true conqueror. Asuta tells them how they do not belong in the school, and Komodori overhears this as she comes up the stairs. Back in the classroom, Asuta explains that he is cousins with Roboko and Kate, as Komodori tells him that she thought he was going to beat them. The following day, after class, Roboko, Kate, and Asuta ask Komodori if she knows about the treasure club. Komodori tells him that nobody knows what it is until Asuta passes by Natasha, who tells them that the treasure club will be meeting after school in the AV room. After school, Roboko, Kate, Asuta, and Komodori go to the AV room where they are given masks, and take a seat inside. A video begins showing a woman who introduces herself as Madam M, the president of the club. She tells them how they are searching for the Udo Bride before dismissing them and telling them to come back later that night to begin the search. After the meeting, Madam M speaks to the commander from White Light, taking off her mask to reveal herself as White Egret. It is the night of the treasure hunt and everyone has arrived. Madam M tells them to break off into pairs to search for the stones, as there are 5 of them. She thinks to herself how there are Zvezda leaders within the group and she needs to identify them. Thinking to herself about how she will identify the Zvezda leaders, she states that she will take an Udo reading of each pair until she finds those with the highest readings and captures them in her barrier. Natasha asks Madam M if the stones have the white Udo marking on them, known as Bada Bing Bada Boom. Madam M tells her that they have the markings and proceeds to walk away. As they walk away, one of Madam M's assistants asks her what Bada Bing Bada Boom is, but Madam M tells her that the treasure is made up, so Bada Bings aren't real. Hidden in the statue, Gorou is astonished to overhear this. He accepts that it is a trap set by White Light and begins to warn the others. In the statue, he taps his toad to deliver Morse code to Yasu and Itsuka, who decipher the code. Kate and Komodori search outside until Komodori gets a call and excuses herself from Kate. Answering the call, asking Egret what's wrong, Egret asks where she is. Watching Komodori from afar, Madam M tells Komodori to go back home and hangs up the phone. Komodori walks back to Kate, surprised to see she found a stone. Madam M appears behind them and takes a look at the stones Kate happily shows her. Madam M takes the stones and tosses them, saying that there are many fake stones and should it break, it's not real. Natasha states that throwing the stones in the pool to see a reaction is another way to check the stone's authenticity, but after trying that method, Natasha, Asuta, Kate, Roboko, and Komodori stay by the pool to figure out what to do next. After some time, Madam M is told that everyone but those by the pool have low readings and tells her assistant to tell everyone to leave. Madam M's assistants tell her that the Udo readings indicate that the Udo levels are spiking. Madam M tells her to start the plan immediately and to begin the operation at once. Gorou calls to tell Natasha that the treasure club is run by White Light, but before he can continue, the barrier is set all throughout the campus. Komodori watches in shock and runs off to get on the call with Egret. The power cuts as soldiers rappel down the sides of the building and storm onto the campus. As the pool starts to react, Kate plunges inside, dragging Atsuka along with her. Struggling to swim, Atsuka opens his eyes to see that he is no longer underwater, but in a desert. Kate walks towards a building in ruins, saying that the treasure is located there. Atsuka follows her, and they end up walking in the halls. Atsuka turns to find Kate is no longer with him, but he hears her talking about someone behind a curtain. He pulls back the curtain to reveal two large pink eyes staring at him. He yells in fear as he runs back down the hallway, hearing an eerie voice ask why he won't let it conquer him. He is shocked to see Kate, who is now the size of a giant with horns resembling the devil. Kate questions Asuta again, making Asuta put his mask on to tell Kate that he is Diva, one of her henchmen. Kate disregards what he says and soon runs after him in her giant form. Back at the school, Diva bursts through the doors and runs away. Komodori sees Kate and yells with fear, taking everyone's attention from the fight. Coming to a dead end, Asuta stops to face Kate, who declares that if he won't let her conquer him, he should conquer her instead. She plunges her fist into the buildings, creating a light beam form in the sky. Komodori and Diva look at one another in shock as Kate is now back to her normal size and collapsed on the ground. Days later, Gorou tells Asuta and Kate that the men who appeared that night of the treasure hunt were the Tokyo Military Special Force under the command of the Tokyo governor. Sitting in his chair, the governor is on call looking at the pictures of his family on his desk to show that his son is actually Atsuka. At the White Light headquarters, Ygritte and Robin listen to the governor talk to their commander on screen. The governor tells the commander that since they were unable to capture Zvezda, the matter should be taken over by him. The commander tells the governor that his help will not be needed as White Light's strongest agent will succeed. The commander introduces the agent as himself, named White Falcon. Robin and Ygritte stand in shock seeing the real commander being a female all along. With school closed, Kate, Roboko, and Asuta walk around town. Kate runs to a stage where her favorite television show is having a special guest appearance. Kate hears the sound of one of the characters' voices, Robo Maid, as she introduces herself as Kaorin Moshimoto. Ygritte and Robin watch the scene from afar as White Falcon talks to the crowd in her alter ego Kaorin. Kaorin tells the crowd that they will have a competition to see who will spend the day with Robo Butler at their home. Using her powers to win, Kate, Roboko, Asuta, and Kaorin are on their way to the Zvezda headquarters. On their way to the house, Asuta makes Kate see that it is a bad idea to let Kaorin join them, which Kaorin hypnotizes to change their mind. Once arriving, Kaorin hypnotizes Natasha and makes her way to the dinner table. Yasu offers her some tea as she throws talismans on the walls. Itsuka comes home to find Kaorin and Yasu laughing in the dining room, until Itsuka takes out her sword angrily and fights Kaorin for making Kate cry. White Robin radios Kaorin saying that they have the headquarters surrounded. The electricity cuts as an explosion takes place in the house. Standing outside, Gorou watches as Kaorin transforms before running off. Gorou blasts missiles at her until they land on a moving train. Falcon tells Gorou that she is starting to look like Tsubaki as they proceed to fight. Gorou throws himself and Falcon off the train, landing on the hard ground beneath them. Gorou tries to get up, but Itsuka protects him from Kaorin's strikes again. Coming back from a spa retreat, Zvezda are shocked to watch their home being demolished by the Tokyo Special Forces. All throughout the city, newspaper headlines talk about how Zvezda needs to leave the city. Homeless and taking base in a tent, Tsubaki mentions how Yasu must have led the Tokyo Special Forces to their headquarters. Tsubaki asks Natasha how long it will take to rebuild the Zvezda headquarters, but Natasha is upset to reveal that because the Uda was also destroyed, she's unsure of where to begin. Natasha tells everyone that they can only transform one last time, leaving everyone speechless, but Atsuka suggests leaving West Udagawa to recover. Natasha tells them that they have nowhere to run, and it's a matter of do or die. Later that night, as stadium lights turn on and face the tent, Kate walks out with multiple guns aimed at her. She yells to the Special Forces about what they are fighting for before the Special Forces are given the go-ahead to fire their weapons at her. Gorou, Roboko, and Asuta jump in to shield her from the bullets and attack the Special Forces. Asuta takes Kate and runs off with Tsubaki and Natasha, leaving Roboko and Gorou behind. Having escaped and walking in a tunnel, Tsubaki, Kate, Natasha, and Asuta reach the opening of the tunnel where they meet Ygritte with the Special Forces. Natasha and Itsuka transform and prepare for battle. Itsuka places Asuta's mask on his face, telling him not to transform yet, but hide his identity. Ygritte tells him that she's giving them one last chance to surrender in exchange for Asuta, but Itsuka states that she does not know who she's talking about. White Robin makes her way from behind the Special Forces and gets in between Ygritte and Zvezda. Robin takes off her mask, saying that White Light has no right to judge Zvezda. She smashes her mask as Asuta lowers his mask. He walks towards Ygritte and surrenders himself, but is shocked when Ygritte tells him the story. Asuta was kidnapped and lost his life in battle with Zvezda. With everyone looking shocked, Ygritte signals to open fire immediately. Robin takes Asuta and runs as Natasha gets shot. In a secret facility, Natasha is tied up when she mentions how they tranquilized her. Cowron stands before her saying that Natasha will help them with an investigation, but Natasha declines. Cowron shows her Roboko, who is dismantled, and Natasha yells that she will never help them. Cowron informs her that they will wait until she's ready to help and walks out of the room. In an underground morgue, Yasu is standing beside Gorou's body. Cowron tells Yasu that he should be careful as traitors never get to relax, and he should practice being a capable servant. Cowron flashbacks to when she told her sister that Gorou has been infiltrated by Kate. Cowron's sister does not listen to Kate as she cradles her baby, saying that he was not meant to end his days in a small arena. Cowron tells her sister that if he makes her cry. Some time passes and Cowron stands by her sister's gravesite before she goes to see Gorou, who dismisses her. She plunges a knife into Gorou's back and runs away. A few days later, at a ceremony for Tokyo's name change, the governor is about to sign a declaration until a massive explosion erupts at the event. He looks up to find Kate, who tells him that West Utagawa has been conquered by her. Yasu makes an appearance and hands the governor Galactico before he runs off stage. The audience flees as the governor tells people to not stop the broadcast as it is a public execution for Zvezda. He throws Galactica on the ground and lights his cigar, to which the smoke makes the toy blow up. Kate yells that he is not human, making the governor yell back that neither is she as his eyes glow red. The governor takes a large inhale of his cigar before exhaling a humongous black cloud in Kate's direction. Kate transforms, making Ygritte transform to White Falcon and jumps into battle. Kate lunges into air and kicks the governor, but is thrown back when a force field glows over him. Asuta appears, yelling to his dad to stop being immature, but Kate collapses in front of him. Calling him a worthless son, Kate manages to get up saying that she is going to conquer the world, but Itsuka begins to cry. Kate collapses again, making Itsuka shout that she is dead. Asuta yells back that she is not dead as the special forces point their guns at Kate, Asuta, and Itsuka. An alarm blares as the governor is told that the Zvezda leaders have escaped their imprisonment. The Kurukuru join together to form a large giant monster with Natasha standing atop. The governor snaps his fingers and a large robot walks out controlled by Yasu. Asuta transforms and runs away from the bullets being fired at him, all while carrying Kate and Itsuka. Back at the morgue, Gorou gets up telling Cowron that she needs to find her own happiness and kisses her. Back at the fight, the giant robot has demolished the Kurukuru giant, leaving Natasha sprawled on the floor. The giant lifts Kate into the air while Yasu celebrates that he now has the real Galactica and gave them a fake that they have burnt. Yasu looks down to find a girl wrapped around his leg. She grabs Galactica and runs away back to Asuta, Natasha, and Itsuka. When Asuta asks who she is, the girl transforms into Roboko. Still crying, Itsuka turns to find Gorou behind her, telling her to pull herself together. Asuta saves Kate and gives her Galactica. The governor puts himself inside of the giant to battle Kate. He stands before her and punches Kate multiple times as she flies through the air and drops Galactica. Asuta throws Galactica back. She plunges her hand into the toy and punches the robot. The governor flies out, landing on his back as Kate walks over and stands before him. Kate stuffs a sweet bun in its mouth and conquers the governor. And that was World Conquest Zvezda Plot Season 1 recap. If you enjoyed this recap, remember to hit that sub, click the like button, and comment down below to let me know what you think of the series. I'll see you on the next video.